I'm Andy Lange and this is the Oceans Project. In this episode I'm going to tell you all about our platform, who we are, what we do, but in short, we're a group of environmentalists, biologists, scientists, and we all care deeply about the oceans. Now, it's no secret that the state of the oceans is declining due to human interaction and global warming, and we all have found methods that help to stop the decline, and in many cases we can even reverse this effect. So in our episodes you will see different methodologies on how to solve those problems, but we also have one thing in common, that's our love and passion for sharks. So there will be sharks, there will be lots of sharks. So enough said, let's roll the intro. This is the Oceans Project. We are passionate about sharks, marine protection and restoration, and we hope that by watching our adventures you will start sharing our passion too and learn why we all need to do our part if we want to save our planet. It is not too late. If we all work together, our voices can no longer be ignored by the people that are responsible for all the harm and damage that has been done to our planet. Like Jane Goodall once said, you cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Our oceans. Covering over 70% of our planet's surface, they are in large parts still unexplored. Once teeming with life, sadly, they have been declining for decades. Our oceans are facing a devastating future from overfishing, climate change, excessive CO2 production, toxic waste dumps, industrial runoffs and shark culling if we don't act now. Over 70% of the world's oxygen is produced by algae within our oceans. Around a quarter of all carbon dioxide that we release into our atmosphere is absorbed by our oceans, and this is increasing the acidification of the water. If the acid levels are rising too high, the acid will dissolve all the limestone in the oceans. The coral skeletons and all of the shells of clams, mussels, lobsters, shrimps, nudibranchs, sea urchins, basically most of the invertebrates will not survive. Even if we can stop the acidification of our oceans in time, without sharks and their essential role in their ecosystems, we will still lose all of our coral reefs. But more about the importance of sharks and the correlation with coral reefs later in this video. If we lose our oceans and the oxygen it supplies to the entire planet, we will face dire consequences. Actions are desperately needed before the negative impact that was brought on by our own modern lifestyle over the last 200 years become irreversible and our oceans will collapse. If the downward spiral is not stopped quickly, it's not a question of if, but when our oceans will collapse. majority of local fishing in third world countries takes place on coral reefs. Fishermen have been fishing here for countless generations so they could feed their families. Unfortunately, a combination of overfishing, coral bleaching, algae overgrowth and dynamite and cyanide fishing have brought most coral reefs to the brink of collapse. The fish populations have been dramatically reduced, so much that a lot of local fishermen can't find enough fish to support their families any longer. To point the finger to the fishermen and to say that they shouldn't fish in certain areas is neither helping the local communities, nor the coral reefs or the fish populations, as the fishermen still need to provide for their families. If we want to stop the decline, we need to have alternative options for the local communities and fishermen. Fortunately, there are already established solutions at hand. By introducing no fish zones and by creating fish sanctuaries, local fish populations can grow back to sizable numbers within just a few years. Studies show that fish will push out of their sanctuaries once they have outgrown it. They will expand their territory in search for more food and living space. The fishermen that fish at the edges of the sanctuaries will catch more than they have with their old ways. They're actually protecting their local coral reefs. However, this can only work as local grassroots campaigns, where the local communities and fishermen are taught the benefits of reef sanctuaries, and this simply cannot be forced upon them. Some years back, my travels brought me to Fiji, where I had the pleasure to meet and dive with Brandon Paige on Viti Levu Island. He's a true shark feeding pioneer, and he was the one who established the first professional shark feeding dives in Fiji back in 1999. Brandon did this with the help of the local community. He's paying them to protect the sharks in Bequa Lagoon of Viti Levu. A small fee is collected from every diver that goes on a shark dive with Aquatrek. Those fees are handed over to the local community that own the fishing rights in these waters. The community is now effectively protecting the sharks. After a short 10-minute boat ride to the shark dive site in Bequa Lagoon, the water is lightly chumped with fish bait, which is enough to get the small fish frenzy going that in turn attracts the sharks. The smell alone is already enough to lure in the first nurse sharks, and the movement of the excited fish will do the rest. The divers are placed with their backs towards the pinnacle, which ensures that the sharks cannot approach the divers from behind. Brandon is descending in front of a pinnacle where he places his bait bucket. The bait bucket is a wheelie bin filled with fish carcass from a nearby fish factory. Brandon is using the parts of the fish that the factory would normally discard anyways. This way, all of the fish gets completely recycled and nothing in the food chain gets wasted. The lemon sharks have heard Brandon's call, and the first bull sharks make their appearance too. The amount of bait seems excessive at first look, but you have to keep in mind that there is an average of about 40 sharks on every dive. This is a rather small snack for each of the sharks, and they still need to hunt for their own food in the wild. You're right if you think that this will change the behavior of the sharks. However, those sharks in the lagoon are protected and alive. Doing nothing would have meant for the sharks to end up as meat in a frying pan, and the fins most likely would have ended up in Asia in a shark fin soup. It should be easy to recognize the better options for the sharks, but let us know in the comment section below this video how you feel about the shark feeding. There are not only about 40 sharks on every dive, but a total of up to 8 different shark species. When looking closer at the coral reef, which was not in a good state before Brandon started to attract sharks to this very dive site, it is apparent that the corals and the marine life in general are now in a very healthy state. This, in a large part, has to do with the abundance of the sharks that are now in this area. They basically govern the food chain from the top down. The sharks guarantee a very healthy fish population by eating the sick and genetically weak fish on the coral reef. The sharks, in essence, create the balance in the food chain on the coral reef.
This example from Fiji demonstrates that humans and nature can live together in harmony when everything is done right. Brandon was one of my main inspirations for creating the Oceans Project platform. One of our platform's goal is to bring local dive centers, communities and fishermen closer together by showing and teaching them how it can be done. We are going to use Brandon's example to show that it is possible. If divers and fishermen work together, there is financial benefit for everybody involved and the local marine life is protected. Everyone wins, especially all life on the reef. I have developed a very light touch shark feeding method that doesn't require any chainmail suits and has the least impact on the behavior of the sharks. If you are a dive center and you want us to teach how to safely set up and conduct our shark feeding program, please contact us through our website oceansproject.net. The link will be in the description below. However, we are only going to teach you if you are involving the local fishermen and their community and you are willing to give them your financial support. Call out places that do shark fishing and take evidence in form of pictures or videos. We are putting together a database with the information you provide. The idea is to see which areas are most affected and where we have to put our focus and priorities in order to help stopping shark fishing. Your help and support are appreciated and together we can make a real difference. Creating this global database was the idea of my dear friend Amir Hassan Matuk, a marine restoration and sustainable fishing legend in his own right. He will be featured in our following episodes that deal with coral restoration, shark feeding and sustainable fishing. Stay tuned and be amazed what experts and scientists like him are already doing to restore our coral reefs. We were filming in the Bahamas, which includes interviews and scuba diving with the shark legend Christina Senato. We have also filmed Coral Vita, a coral farm that is growing more resilient corals in their labs, which can now be planted and grown on coral reefs on a larger scale. Coral Vita have just won the Earthshot Prize from Prince William for restoring coral reefs. They were covered by the BBC on British television and we are proud that we could supply some of our filming material to this BBC Earthshot program. There are also going to be some episodes coming up that I have already filmed in destinations like the Galapagos Islands, the Arctic region of Russia, and Antarctica, as well as tropical locations in the South Pacific, Southeast Asia, and Central America. We are currently doing projects in Mexico and preparing projects in the South Pacific where we are going to dive in amazing underwater locations and film with renowned shark conservationists and scientists. Oceans Project is also proud to point out our collaboration with Captain Dominic Gayson, the Managing Director of Dive Operations Buddy. He has put a lot of work in to get our projects on their way. Dominic is helping a lot with marine protection on a global level, bringing together filmmakers, scientists and foundations so we can all help raising awareness and funds to protect our oceans. Here's a brief interview with Dominic about how we met and what we do.
I met Andy in the Canary Islands, where we decided to work together. We agreed that 3 important pillars for marine conservation is to support the creation of marine sanctuaries, shark conservation, and the creation of coral farms. DOB provides operational solutions for vessels that are involved into diving. We provide safety training, operational procedures, submersibles, which are these manned little submarines, decompression chambers, and so on. We also outsource dive professionals, underwater videographers, photographers, and specialized dive guides around the world. Therefore, our team is obviously passionate about the ocean, and we decided to contribute to marine conservation by giving a percentage of what we do to specific projects we agree upon.
Our platform relies on the support of good people like you. If you feel that we are doing the right thing and you like what we do, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the like button and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of our episodes. There's also the share option just below this video, where you can help us to spread our episodes to your friends and colleagues, which would help us a great deal. Please also leave your comment below and let us know what you think. We value your opinion and we will listen to what you have to say. If you want to make a really big difference and keep the Oceans Project going, we would welcome your ongoing support as one of our patrons. The link to our Patreon is in the description below. As a Patreon member, you will be able to suggest new projects, and all members can vote on the topics and projects they would like to see us doing in the future. Become a member of the Oceans Project and help us to make the world a better place. Together we can make a real difference. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you back here on our channel soon.